First of all, congratulations. I mean, it's just an absolutely beautiful, stunning film. But I wanted to ask you, I mean, having made this over 3 years ago, how bizarre is it to be talking about this now? Or are you finally excited that North American audiences are finally getting to see it?
Well, beside the fact that I saw it probably 7 times, right? And every Chinese person probably saw it outside of America, right? I mean, obviously I'm very excited that finally Miramax is pushing this film and introducing what we did, what our intention was when we made this film is to introduce, after Crouching Tiger, another big epics film, not only with good action, but as well as with everything else, you know, to introduce to the rest of the world. And I'm very glad that it's finally here.
When you read this script, was there something that really got you? Because, you know, it's not your typical martial arts film. There's so much going on in this film. Was there something that really touched you?
Well, absolutely. I mean, it's probably the best script that I ever read. Let me tell you a funny short story. They were doing this movie before they called and asked me to participate and play that role. And I was in LA, and the producer called, and he said, you know, both himself, director, and Jet, very much would love me to play the role of Sky. And at first I was kind of hesitant because I heard about this film. They went to China, and you know, the whole cast, and I know every one of them. You know, Maggie, Tony, and Jet. I worked with them previous film, so I was kind of hesitant to do the film. So when the producer sent me the script, and the script was so solid and it was so moving that they sent me an English script. All right, that was unusual because I guess they did it in a very Hollywood way because I guess they know that I was working in Hollywood and agents and stuff like that. So I told the producer why don't you send me the original script, the Chinese script. That's where I can read all the essence. I'm glad this film is coming out in Chinese, you know, so with the true essence of it. But anyway, so I read the script. It was just the most fascinating script that I ever read. So I just told my agents that I have to do this role, regardless of the screen time or whatever. You know, I'll have to be involved with this film.
Now, Sky, one of the assassins, you know, great fight scene with Jet Li. Now, I know you've worked with Jet before, so you guys were comfortable. But how much in the choreography do you work together? How do you work that out?
Well, first of all, like you said, you know, we worked with each other about 10 years ago, and we in a film called Once Upon a Time in China in Part 2. And at the time, we did this action scene, and it created a standard for all martial art films. So the physical aspect of this film, the expectation weren't as high on the choreography, the physical acceleration, but it was more of the expectation from the audience because, you know, 10 years later, the fans and the whole industry wanted to see a reunification of Jet Li versus Donnie Yen, right? So that pressure was on. And at the same time, because of the success of the recent films like Crouching Tigers and Matrix and, you know, all of these films and together. So we had a pure pressure on the set. I mean, I remember we talking to Jet every day, and, you know, jokingly, and we said to each other, if we're going to lose it to Zhang Ziyi and Michelle Yeoh in Crouching Tiger, then we might as well just retire, right? So that I think that was the pure pressure, walking onto the set, knowing that we have a mission to accomplish, to top everybody, you know, that was very tough.
Is it ever in your mind, you know, I don't want to kick Jet Li's butt too hard?
That's a political question right there. No, I mean, Jet and I, you know, when we first worked together 10 years ago, it was more of a rivalry.
Yes.
We were younger, and it was the very first time we worked with each other, and we had that fresh approach to the working with each other. Well, I guess after, you know, obviously he has gone to became international superstar, and I was very, very busy working in Asia as well. And recently, I just, due to all due respect to all of them, you know, they opened the door for someone like myself coming to Hollywood industry and started working. But we came in with this movie with more of a reunion, a friendships, a reunion. So I mean, you can kind of tell in our scenes, and although we were battling, but it was more of a friendship exchange. You know, we were acknowledging each other's skill as on screen, but if you could see behind the message, right, it was sort of off screen as well.
Yeah. You recently had a baby daughter. She's absolutely stunning. I saw that. You have a very active website and beautiful pictures on there.
Yeah.
And does it make, now when you choose films, does that play into it now? Are you more conscious about the martial arts and the fighting and all that because you have a daughter now? You have more responsibility.
You know, I always been trying to set a goal for myself as far as choosing projects and set role models for audiences, right? I try not to choose projects where it brings negative messages, right? Obviously, now I have a baby girl, you know, I would never do something that's going to do harms not only to my children's but also to the general audience, because I think we, as an actor, as a filmmaker, we have responsibility of telling stories, you know, translating our thoughts to the society, and especially society today. There's so many problems, you know. I think we need positive images, you know. We need voices.
What's your secret to keeping in shape?
Be positive, you know. Thanks my parents, you know. Just be happy, you know. Not to take things for granted. I mean, I'm not going to tell you, like, work out, do this, you know, eat this, dieting. But I think it's an attitude thing. It's more than the diet thing.
Now, like you say, since Hero, you've done so much stuff. You've got the sequel to The Twins Effect. So what are we going to see you in next?
Currently, I'm doing this big modern action cops movies. I haven't done a cop movie for the last 10 years because I've been doing these traditional Chinese epics. And that's something that I think my fans should look forward to. I'm working with a couple of my fellow actors, Simon Yam, who was the villain in Tomb Raider Part 2, and as well as Sammo Hung in Martial Law. He plays the main villain. But in the film, besides starring the film, I am the action director, so I have a lot of expectation as far as trying to bring up the level of Hong Kong action movies, because you know, the past couple of years, Hong Kong action movies is everywhere.
Yeah. And
it's kind of overplayed, the style, the technique. So I wanted to make some changes when it comes to the techniques of delivering these styles of cinematic movements. Mm-hmm. And then I'm going to move on to other projects in China and just continue to make good films.
Oh, good. Well, you have tons of fans. I mean, here too, especially in Canada. Like, do you find that when you walk down the street, or you know, do you get recognized, or is it okay to you know you can?
I'm okay with it. You know, I mean, obviously, I've been dealing with these type of not having your own privacy for quite some time, and my attitude is just whatever, you know, as long as they don't interrupt my times with my baby and my wife, that's okay, you know, that's fine.
Well, congratulations, you've done a wonderful job in this, and I can't wait to see your next few projects.
Thank you very much.
I know there's lots.
Thank you.
Lovely talking to you. Thanks, Donnie. Thanks, guys.